Hey everybody, today I'm going to show you how to draw in Affinity Designer. Affinity Designer is an awesome drawing tool for artists. It's an alternative to Adobe Photoshop, and the great thing about it is you only pay for it once and you get all the free updates, free of charge. So that's why I really like using this versus using Photoshop, at least for right now. So I've just been doing a lot of my designs in Affinity Designer. So here's what I did so far. I went over to Files and hit New, and let me just do this again so that y'all can see. I made 4,000 pixels wide, 4,800 pixels wide, and then 4,000 pixels tall. And then I changed the DPI from 72 to 600. That's going to make this file really big. However, it's going to allow us to draw in really finer details, okay? So if you're working and you're drawing and you're wondering why, oh man, why does everything look all pixelated? It's because one, your image isn't big enough, and then two, your DPI isn't large enough, okay? So I'm going to create, and here we are. We have that for us there. So first thing we're going to do, I tend to like to draw in Pixel Persona first because it's a little bit better for me in terms of like my process, because I like to do it really sketchy. And also when we turn on the brush, we can do this thing called symmetry, which allows us to draw on both sides. So I like to do it kind of like that. So what I do is I just drag and I hold down shift to move it and snap it right in place. So now I can just focus on one area. Then the last thing I do is I hit mirror, so it mirrors it instead of going up like that. So we're going to do mirror, and then I'm going to hit this force pressure. I'm using a Cintiq, so that allows me to press hard and press soft. So what we're going to do is we're just going to, so to prevent that from happening, you got to lock it like that, and then you won't touch it. Okay, so I'm going to draw just a smiley face. Okay, boom, boom, there we go, and then boom, and then we're going to put a head there, and we're going to give him some hair. I don't know. Boom, and then he's going to have an earring because he's a rebel. You know what I'm saying? And then he's going to have little hair over here on the side, and then there's going to be an S thing for the ears, and then we're going to draw a head, and then a circle, and then boom, there you've got a smiley face. We're going to give him, oh, he's not looking like a girl, but that's okay. Actually, I'm going to give him some chin hair to make him look rugged. Boom. There we go. So here's our person, okay? So now I'm going to turn off symmetry. So here's our person. Then we're going to go over here to designer persona. So once we're in designer persona, everything is a what you call a vector, okay? So pixels are the little squares here. That's why there's that icon. And the vectors are made from using the pen tool and creating these little points, okay? So when you see these little points, they look a little bit intimidating. Don't worry. I'm going to explain it, but the first thing we're going to do is we're going to lock this sketch layer, okay? I like the sketch layer here. Boom. Then I'm going to make a new layer and drag it below the sketch layer. Below the sketch layer. There you go. And then I'm just going to do it like this. I'm going to... So the way that I like to do it is I'm going to fill this whole area up with one color. So to use the pen tool, you just click again, it'll be straight, but if you click and drag, it becomes a curve, right? And then you just keep going that way. But sometimes you get these little weird parts where you can't control the curve. I mean, and you can't click that. So what you do is you want to get rid of this second handle here. These two things are called Bezier handles. So we want to get rid of this handle so that we can create another edge so we can follow along this path, right? So what you're going to do is you're going to click on this anchor point. That's what this dot is, this anchor point again, to get rid of that Bezier handle. And then you're just going to continue on your way. And you'll see me do that the entire time. Boom. I'm trying to be quick about this. Let me use my pen. Using the pen is so much easier. But if you don't have the pen, you can use the mouse. And this technology was created so that if you don't have a pen, you can use your mouse. And it's once you've created, you can go back and move the points. So what I did to zoom in was Control Plus. Control Plus is a very common shortcut key for zooming in. And notice I have all these dots here. It doesn't matter how many dots you have. What matters is doing this fast, right? Because a lot of times when you're working on projects, there's deadlines that you have to hit. Sometimes you have to create something that is due the very same day that it was asked, right? So working quickly is crucial, and investing in a Cintiq or a Wacom tablet or some type of tablet will be extremely beneficial for you. Boom, boom, boom. And then the last thing that we have to do is just to connect it. So what I did was I hit my last anchor point and I went back to the very first one. And you see there's a little circle there that appears. That means that it's going to complete the connection, right? And so now I have one solid shape. And then what I like to do is I like to turn it gray like that. Boom. And then I go here into the fill tool, and I just literally just drag and it creates a gradient for me. So immediately there I'm having some value and some shadow. And then another thing that I like to do is I like to duplicate this selection here. So what you can do is just Control C or copy and then Control V or paste, and that creates that. And what I like to do is drag it onto this top layer. You see how when I drag it next to this image here, it creates this little blue connection? That is essentially I'm making a mask, right? So anything that I put within this layer group here is going to be within this mask. So for example, if I decided to create another layer, drag it underneath here, and use the brush tool, draw some red, you see it stays within that mask, which is awesome, right? So the next thing I like to do is I still just use the pen tool. However, I'm going to select this group, and then I want to make sure that over here the insert inside selection is selected. And this only works in persona, the designer persona, while having a layer selected. So if you don't have anything selected, it's not going to work for you. Okay. So this is selected. I got my pen tool. Now I can go in and start drawing details. Boom, boom, boom. There we go. That. And then I can fill in another color like that. So here's the awesome thing that I like to do as well. Once I've created my shape, I'm going to go over here to the transparency tool and just drag and add transparency. So the black means it's opaque, the white means it's transparent. So quickly there, I can add in nice little shadows relatively quickly. So I'm just going to keep my shadow layer selected. I'm just going to keep doing that. Okay. Boom. Oh. Transparency tool. Bam. I don't know why I'm using my mouse when I can just use my pen. Okay, so I duplicated this. So I selected it, hold down Alt, and I just dragged it over to duplicate it. And then you can go over here to click flip horizontal, and that flips it horizontally for you. The next thing that you can do, instead of using the pen tool, you can use the pencil tool and use this scope feature. So we can do like that. Boom. And just start drawing in shapes there. And then I like to select both of these and then do the transparency again. Okay, go back to my pencil tool. Just add in shadows and quickly give this character some life. Yeah. Boom. Again, it doesn't have to be perfect because you can, if I hit A, I can go in and select these points and move them around if I want to. See? Same thing here. Give this a little shadow. Y is for the transparency tool. Duplicate that over and then flip. Boom, boom, boom. And then do that. Transparency tool. Boom. Okay, so quickly there, we were able to draw out our character, at least in black and white. Boom. 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 Like that. Transparency tool. Okay, so that's one layer. So now I can go in and make some lighting, you know, so that shadow. Okay, that shadow, select this layer, go to my pencil tool, and I start sculpting in some lighting. Boom, just like that. Boom. You know what I'm saying? It's very, very effective. Simple and effective. Okay, there's the lighting there. Boom, 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 boom. We're gonna call this guy Steve. I don't know why. His name is Steve, but yeah, his name is Steve. He looks like a Steve. Okay, and Steve likes color. So now we're gonna add in color. So what we're gonna do is make a new layer, and then Control C our mask layer here, and then Control V the mask layer there, and then drag that next to the thing again to create another layer. And we're gonna call this color. Okay. I'm going to call this value because black and white is value. And then hue and saturation is color, right? So what we can do now is start to color him in without, you know, messing with anything here. So what I like to do is I like to set this layer here to color. Boom. And then all I have to do now is pick a color that I want to color. He's a white man, so we're going to do it like that. And then I'm going to pick my brush. And the cool thing about this too is it has so many cool little brushes that you can use already. So we're going to just use this brush here. Oops, sorry, wrong color. Bam, there we go. So immediately I'm able to pick the color that I want and fill it in without going outside of the lines, right? Then here we go. We're gonna now. Steve is a rebel, so he's got red hair, right? Yep. And every time I draw, you see how it automatically is inserting this within this group. It's because I have. I take it back. Let me go here. Yeah, it's because I have this, or I did have this on. Then all I have to do now is manipulate where I have these going. Boom, 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 boom. Okay. So you can do it like that, or you can literally use the pen tool and just quickly kind of fill in the color. This probably would be the better way to do it. That last way was kind of messy. Boom, 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 boom. Boom, there we go. And then we're gonna pick our color. This tan color there. Okay. And then you can go back and manipulate and fix some of the points. There we go. All right. Then we're going to do that again. Just make sure this is selected. I didn't do that last time, but make sure this is selected and this is selected, and it's going to insert it within that layer. So now we can add it in this red here. Boom, 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 boom. So I know this is like a bit different because in Photoshop you can just go in and paint it like that, but I like this way better because it's a lot more like it's not destructive, if that makes sense. You can go back and you can edit, you can change, you can manipulate. You're not having to rework stuff all the time. And oh wait, I don't even have to do that. I can just do this. Boom, 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 boom. So much faster. Bam. So now all I gotta do is pick my color. Let's say blue. He likes to wear a blue shirt. But maybe I don't like blue. So how about I just move this around and figure out a color that looks good. Maybe he's a person that likes green. I'm like, yeah, he likes that green color. All right, so now what I'm going to do is I'm going to go into my sketch layer and fix this layer, this this stroke here. So I got to go back to persona, hit my erasure, and just erase where I want to. Now, since this is in pixel mode, we don't have those Bezier handles, or we don't have any points that we can mess around with, right? So this is strictly pixel. That's why you use pixel versus vector, so that you get that freedom, right? So we can go back to our pen tool and add on if we want to. I have the stabilizer checked, and what it does is it stabilizes my stroke for me and gives me like smooth lines. And then we will make sure our pen pressure is turned on. Boom. Then you can go, oh, but if you do that, you got to make sure that you're on a new layer. Don't do it on the outline layer. So now what I'm doing is first I'm masking out some of my mistakes from the last round, and I'm just adding some visual interest in the hair. We can do that with the face as well. Act like there's a bit of a rim light coming from this side of his face. There we go. And then I'm going to carry that light right here as well. So now I'm going to hit Control Z to zoom out a little bit. Not Control Z, Control minus to zoom out. Boom. Boom. Next thing I'd like to do is I like to add in some detail there. Boom, 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 boom. And then maybe he's got like a cool pattern on his shirt. So all I have to do is go here pop a pixel layer underneath there, and then I can just draw in my pattern. Just want to make sure it doesn't get over to that area there. Okay, and then the last touch would be just adding it, the white on top. So to do that, I just make a new layer on top of everything, and I'll just add in the white. Okay. Boom, boom, boom. And my rule of thumb is sometimes when you just add in some random dots here and there, it adds a level of detail that it's kind of nice sometimes. Like, oh, what's he wearing? That's kind of shiny. I don't know. So there's that, and then the last thing that I would do is add in like a background. A lot of the times I just enjoy doing like just a solid colored background, just like that, right? Or you can check out these little styles. So I got this snizzle style from Retro, I think they're called Retro Graphics. But essentially you can just click on one of these styles and it just adds it to whatever you have selected. So that doesn't look too bad actually. And then to change the color of it, we have to go over here to appearance and under fill, and then we can change the color just like that. That looks pretty good. And then I can go into this texture fill and change the way that, you know, instead of it just being black, it could be a white or multiply. Yeah. Or no, I like it like that. That's cool. Or let's say we just want it to be kind of dark, but not super dark. Yeah, that looks good to me. And then from there, all I got to do now is add in my signature. Make sure that when you're using the brush tool in the persona, that you're in lines instead of the fill tool. So these two here, you want to use that color as a line. And then the left and right brackets to make this brush bigger or smaller. So actually I'm going to do something like that. No. It's because I don't have my pressure sensitivity. There it is. Okay. So, there's my signature. And then we'll call it a day. Look at that. Okay, so hopefully after watching this tutorial, you understand how to use Affinity Designer and how to approach drawing within this. Hope you like it, and let me know if you have any other questions.